Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. We're in part number 3 of our playthrough of Follow the Board Game, and as you can see, our Ghoul character currently sits in the Cit Ruins. There is a faction token in there, and that's exactly what I want to talk about right off the top. So I made one mistake in terms of actually completing an encounter in the last video. It's not going to change the end game. It doesn't really impact anything too much. It does give me a little bit of a leg up because I've completed it just ahead of schedule. But essentially there was a card, and this is the card that I want to talk about. This came from the prior video, and as you can see there in the white, if I can get this to actually focus, it says place the third shield on the map. Now when I read that, I thought, as you have to warn the Institute by getting to a particular wasteland location, as denoted by the icon, that we're just supposed to go ahead and place a third, I guess it would be the Institute faction token on the map right away. But actually how it works essentially is you have to go to that location, and the point was there was a card which we had pulled out and put into the wasteland deck, and we were supposed to find that card. Now in the last video we went through this wasteland deck, pulled one card, and that card wasn't it. So we know that this top one here is definitely it. So where I made the mistake is essentially, if we were to go ahead and encounter the Cit Ruins a second time, we would encounter that card I buried into this wasteland deck, which would then, after completing it, allow me to put this shield token or faction token into the Cit Ruins. So what you can see here is I've kind of already done it. So essentially I'm a little bit ahead of that quest. Again, doesn't break the game per se or make any major issues, but I wanted to point it out. Something to be aware of. Some of these cards are not exactly 100% clear. It doesn't say complete or complete the wasteland location encounter, and say a certain card number. It just says place the third shield on the map. So it doesn't necessarily really connect the dots for you, but hopefully that does now, and hopefully that makes sense for you. Alright, so moving forward, we're going to go ahead. What I'm going to do actually is, I am in the Cit Ruins right now. So we could, and really the goal right now for me is this All Hell card. This is the main quest kind of progression that we're going with. It wants us to go to Diamond City. My real reluctance to go to Diamond City is the fact we have a ranged super mutant skirmisher sitting right outside the city who basically can attack me from range. It'll give me some loot, which is nice. Level 3, that's pretty nasty. But that seems to be like a great, I don't really want to fight him, so it's kind of me gambling essentially with the agenda deck to hope that he doesn't activate when I'm inside of Diamond City completing this particular quest. But we don't have much time, and I don't want to waste too much time. I want to make progress. So what I'm thinking of is, instead of getting all clustered up with these guys up here, I'm going to actually use and activate my guy right now for a movement for my first action, which gives me 2, so I'll move to here. And then I'm going to activate again for another movement to bring him into here, and then finally into Diamond City. So we're back to Diamond City, and we're ready, hopefully, to go ahead and actually deal with this All Hell. And I'm really going for this top one that says kill the last, and this star stands for the Railroad faction on the map. So this is the last one because there's only one on the board, and if we do that, we're going to have our faction, which we're loyal to right now, which is the Institute. It's going to gain 2 extra bonus points. Now, something else I also want to mention from the last video that somebody clarified, and I do want to thank them quite a bit for this. There is a difference between what you're seeing on your loyalty cards. So in other words, you don't have to declare loyalty, as I explained in previous videos, in order to take the advantage here of gaining this particular ability, for instance. So you don't have to display your card. Essentially, this can be stay hidden, and you can still be gaining influence at the end of the game points. This one right here. This point right here is always 1. You always get 1, but this section right underneath of it is +1 for each space that the Institute advances further than the Railroad. So you get that regardless of your loyalty declaration. But at the start of your turn, you can reveal the card to declare loyalty. The reason I did that is because I do not want these shield tokens of all these different faction members attacking me. There'd be too much. I'd have enemies coming at me from every angle. So I had to align myself with one of the factions, the one that was the most dangerous, or at least the one that, align myself with one that's essentially the most dangerous in the Commonwealth to avoid dying and avoid being taken out too many times. So we're all good there, but hopefully that clarification makes sense now. So here we are in Diamond City. We've now finished our turn. We're going to pull the agenda card to find out what happens. So let's do a quick flip, see what it is. We've got a star symbol. Oh, sorry. Before I do this, I just realized as I moved into this location, and now you've seen the agenda card anyway, but that's okay. We essentially moved in this location. I actually have to take a look at this faction member because this railroad member actually has the aggressive bolt that's sitting in its area, which means we have to attack it right away. So because we have to attack it, we have to check the X of its level. The X is found where this particular faction power token is sitting, and of course you can see as of right now we're still in the green. X equals 1. You can see it in small writing right up there. So that essentially means that right now this faction's actually at 1 level, which is perfect because it's not very strong, so we should be able to take it out, but we have to fight it. It's a forced fight, and it's happening prior to my turn ending. As soon as I moved into this location, it had to happen. So we're going to fight it, which might be good because it's going to allow us to kill it off hopefully sooner than later. Again, it's a melee fight, so I'm using 3 dice. Remember, I am well rested, so if my dice come up and I don't like what I'm seeing, I could spend my well rested trait in order to reroll a die, which could potentially come in handy. I don't have anything else that could help me except for potentially the buff out, but I really want to keep that because it'll give me an additional hit. That might be something we're talking about when we go to the skirmisher, or if somebody else comes after me for later. Plus, I don't want to get addicted to drugs just yet. So, with all that said, let's do some rolling now. The crazy thing with this railroad member is we need 1 hit, but it could be a headshot or it could be a shot at the leg. So that's kind of what we're going for. It's a forced fight, so let's get to it and see what happens. Alright, so we got a body shot, and a headshot. Okay, so we actually nailed it because we only need 1 hit. And the hit that we did to kill it will be this one. However, we have to deal with the pips that have come to us. So again, 1 times the level. So that'll be 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is going to end up being 2 total. So essentially 2 hits are coming at me. So I'm going to have to take both of those. Sadly, my armor, just so you guys are aware, Raider armor does not help me in this particular case because we're playing, it's a melee attack. So it's not going to help me at all. But thankfully, this headshot does the damage needed in order to kill off the last faction member on the board. So this faction member is now dead. And with that 1 that I just gained, I actually go up another XP. So now I'm going to be bumping myself up to A. So I'm getting closer to leveling up, which is awesome. So technically at this point, I'm going to take a look here because really this quest resolves immediately from what I'm seeing here. There is no vault symbol. So these are the symbols here. I think I might have been referring to them as seals before, but they're actually vault symbols, and that's what they're supposed to be. It's just really hard for me to see that on camera, or through the camera anyway. But essentially, you can see that normally you would need to spend a quest action to actually finish that quest, whereas this one just says kill the last star on the map. We just did that. So because we did it, I'm under the understanding, and it's still technically part of our turn, because again, as we moved in here at the end of our turn, that aggression activated that railroad member to attack us. We killed it off, so we have successfully wiped out the railroad's agents in the wastelands. Awesome. And now we're going to go ahead and progress our faction up because we helped out the Institute and the Synths up 2. So this is a huge bonus for them. So they're way up here. So they're certainly stronger now. And our loyalty definitely is a good thing because as of right now, they're bumping up the charts in terms of their difficulty. What else do we get? We're going to get 3 XP. That's fantastic. So we're going to end up going 1, which is going to take us through to the end. This is going to be a level up. So at this point here, we're going to go ahead and actually pull for a level up. So let's go ahead and come over here to our special tokens. I'll grab 2. We'll see what we get. We still have 2 more XP to get, but we're going to do our level up right now. We got an L and a C. We need both of those. We don't have L or C. So we got luck and charisma, essentially, are the special tokens. So what do we want? Charisma or luck? Luck's pretty cool. Let's go luck. Let's go luck. So we're going to put L at the very end, put that C one back, and then we're going to progress this thing 2 more spaces, so to P and then to I. So that's our full 3 XP accounted for. What else do we get here? We're going to stage 0 to 1. Okay, so that card's going to come in right away. It's not going to be added into an encounter deck. It's going to come right into our play area. So 21, we'll have to read that in a second. And 150. It's a pretty high numbered card. That's almost all the way to the bottom of the pile. So let's see if I can grab that relatively quick. Okay, so these are the 2 that essentially branch off of that one. And then next up we have add 22. All right, so add 22 is going to be adding a card to our encounter deck that's likely going to progress our quest. So let's see if I can pull that out as well. This pile of cards is just absolutely massive, so I'm doing this off screen. Here we go. 22, and what is 22? 22 is a wasteland card, so again, we're going to take this, and the funny thing is, remember, we know that the top of this card, essentially, is what was originally required to complete what was over here. We did it a little bit in advance, so we have a little bit of edge there, but now these two are going to be mixed together, so we've kind of got two of them going, and again, I'm going to have to flip this around a couple times until I don't know what's what. So those are all organized. We'll put these at the top of that deck, and we're good. Okay, so at this point, add 22, that's good. We're going to trash this card, so this card is going to disappear. And we have resolved it, and we now have two more essential story missions, I'm assuming, that kind of branch off the past. And we still have the Vault Rumors and the Children of the Atom kind of as side quests. So we can track those separately if we want to. All right, so technically now we're actually done our turn. And because now we're done our turn, we're going to go ahead and resolve that agenda card. Now the cool thing is, because of the aggression token, it already happened during our turn, which means when we flip the agenda card and we see that same faction token, there's no longer any of those particular railroad members on the map, so they don't get to activate. And the cool thing is, there is none of those monsters from the red tokens in play either, so no one activates. This is perfect for us. Couldn't have gone better, because at this point now, Wastelands is wide open for us. Now, before we go any further, I just want to do a quick run through of what's on these two new cards so we can find out if there's any new areas we're supposed to go explore. So let's go ahead and read Bunker Hill. Bunker Hill says, with the Institute's agents hunting railroads members in the field, the railroad has managed to free a large group of synths, and they are looking for a way out of the Commonwealth. Locate the synths safe house before they escape. Encounter level 3 or higher wasteland. So that we'd have to go to essentially Cit Ruins again, or we could go to downtown Boston, because that's 3 or higher. So either of those two would work. And then this one here says, find the synths and get them to safety. Okay. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, and then this one's the same thing, kind of level 3 or higher. So basically we have kind of two things going on here. Again, one's going to progress our faction higher up the track, which is good. The other one's going to progress the alternate faction higher up the track. We need to get some agenda cards here as soon as possible, because things are getting a little bit bleak. I need some more agenda cards. I can hold up to 4 agenda cards, and I need more of them, because that's going to help me progress my influence faster. So far, yeah, that's going to be a tough call as to which one we should be going with there. I think it makes sense to keep pushing the Institute higher. So in that case, we're going to probably try to locate the synth safe house before they escape. So what we're going to do is we're going to start using our quest tokens now, because this will keep things clear for us. So I'm going to grab 2 of these. So basically we're going to put this little arrow here on this one. You can see it's colored. And then the matching one for this particular one says encounter a level 3 or higher wasteland location. I'm going to probably choose to come down to downtown Boston, I think. Yeah, let's head down to downtown Boston. So I'm going to put it down here. Yes, I could also say that I want to go to Cit Ruins. Really, either one's valuable, but for now, I'm just going to choose to say downtown Boston. Of course, I'm free to move that whenever I want. That's just there for my tracking purposes. 150 says nowhere to go. Now, what can we do with this one? A recent war and destruction in the wasteland has left many homeless, but no one has been affected as the local ghoul populace. Well, that's no good. We love the ghouls. Already viewed as pharaohs, a bounty has been put on certain ghouls, which has led to all of them being shunned. Oh my goodness. So we can kill the bounty hunter. That's going to give us influence. Oh, we need this bad. We need this bad. Okay, so kill the bounty hunter will gain us 1 influence card, which is awesome. It's going to stage 151. Or we can find a new uninhabited place for them to settle. Explore a tile. And stage 152. Kill a bounty hunter. Well, I'm assuming that there are particular tokens that are going to come out of here that are considered bounty hunters. We haven't seen any of those yet. So because of that, I don't think that's the best option then. I guess maybe exploring, maybe actually having them find a new uninhabited place for them to settle might be better. Again, you can notice the stage cards are different depending on what you pick. In the end, I don't think we don't have a bounty hunter out on the board yet. So we're gonna probably have to go this other route. And that's okay, because if we're heading down to downtown Boston, it just makes logical sense. So let's go ahead and use track tokens for this as well. So we're gonna say nowhere to go, and then I'm gonna plan on my turn here to probably travel off in this direction, probably to here, because I wanna get away from that super mutant and kind of head off to downtown Boston on an angle without it being in my way. All right, so that's essentially it. The only other things I could think of is if I wanted to pinpoint some stuff here. Like for instance, this one here, the Children of Adam, says we have to go to, this one's about recruiting basically a new recruit and bring it to the Hoffman farm. Or we can use a quest action to eradicate, oh, I see. Ooh, that's actually really good for me. Now that I look at that, I like that. So this one's called The Word of Adam Calls to Embrace the Glow, and that's good for us. We're a ghoul. It says basically do a quest action on an eradicated space. So basically an irradiated space, sorry. So anything with, so that would be something like this, or sorry, not that, this. Anything green like this, we can find some more. We're not really close to it, but if it happens to show up over here, it could work out. And the cool thing is suffering 2 rads would actually give us 2 health, so that's good, and an influence. So this is actually something worth going after. We shouldn't ignore this. As well, over here, the Vault Rumors also have influence as well for those, so those are just as important too. This one's harder to do because we have to kill something that's not on the board yet, but this one here says if we can find an old exile who will sell us information for about Vault Rumors, then we can get an influence as well. And it has to be a quest action on any settlement, spend 4 caps. Hey, that's interesting. We're on a settlement right now. We can do this. So maybe that's what we do. So actually, sorry. So this is going to be this one here. I'll leave this here for now because we don't have an area with rads that I want to put this on just yet. But I'll put this darker one on this. And where did I put the other? Oh, that's not right. Sorry, that's supposed to be here. I need a new color, Vault Rumors. We'll use orange, and we're just going to put it right here because it's going to basically happen right away. I don't really need to do this because essentially we're going to do it right away, so it's kind of silly. But I'm just going to, because now it's my turn, I'm going to actually go ahead. I want to do this right away. So I'm going to actually do an encounter here. Is that a good idea? Oh, it's another risk. It's another risk. Because if I sit here for another turn, I can't get away fast enough. I could move towards Mr. Gutsy, though. But then I risk potentially seeing one of these guys come at me. But I'd rather have them come at me than the Super Mutant Skirmisher, that's for sure. Shoot. This makes it so much tougher when you have to do a quick gamble on the fly. But you know what? We're doing decent with the gambling, so I'm gonna risk it. We need the influence, so I'm gonna stay in Diamond City. We're gonna go ahead now on my turn, and it says if we're in Diamond City with the Vault Rumors, it says see if you can find an old exile who will sell you information. So hopefully in Diamond City you can do that. One action I'm going to spend for the quest action for any settlement I'm there. I'm going to spend 4 caps. So 4 of my caps are going to disappear. That's a lot of money for me right now. I really hope that pays off. And then I'm going to gain 1 agenda card, so that's good. And stage 69. So we're going to have to actually go ahead down to the deck, and I'm going to have to stage 69, so that'll be fun. All right, so here's my agenda card. For each space, the star, oh my gosh, that's a complete and utter polar opposite of the one that I have. So this agenda card, yes, it gives me 1 influence, but it's not going to give me any more than that. So I might as well just flip it and keep it like this for reference. But essentially, that's one of those ones where it's like, it's not going to give me any bonus because these 2 things are doing opposite things on the track. It's not going to help me. It does help me in terms of giving me 1 influence, but that's not great. Right now, technically, I have 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. So I have 4 influence of a total needed of 11 to win the game. And then we need to stage 69 and then trash this card. So we're going to go grab 69 really quick, which is going to basically replace this card. And then we are going to... Oh, interesting, interesting, interesting. Oh, I like this. This is cool. Okay, so we're Vault Rumors. We're trashing this card. It's going away. This one is now staged. Crack it open. I like the sound of that. What is that all about? Crack it open. This is all about Vault Rumors, guys. So the information around town says that there are people locked away inside the vault, but they are somewhat very hostile to outsiders. Perhaps you can break in. We can try to crack open the giant metal door in the mountains, or we can overload a nearby substation to force the door open. Interesting. Crack open the giant metal door in the mountains. So we have to go to Vault 84 in order to do that. So we have to do a quest action on Vault 84. And as of right now, we don't have Vault 84 anywhere on here. We'd have to go find it. Or we can go do something at Red Rock Station. So this is going to be one that's going to be nice to do at some point, but right now we can't do it. So there's no point in putting any markers anywhere for it because we don't know where they are. We don't know where it is. We might find it as we explore, but a nice to know kind of thing. So as of right now, it is the Ghoul's turn. So it's my last action of my turn. I want to. This is such a waste of movement. But I need to get beside this. Even though this is a waste of movement, I need to get here because I want to go this direction. I want to explore this tile. So I'm going to sit here. I am losing out on an action, so that's, or losing out on half of a movement point, essentially, that I'm wasting, because when you gain movement points, you get 2. I'm only using 1. I'm going to stop right there. We're going to go ahead and reveal the agenda card. Oh my gosh, it's the last one, which means things are going to happen here. So the agenda card says that oh, perfect. So again, the railroad activates, but there is no railroad on the board. Perfect. But it looks like Mr. Gutsy is going to move. So, and that's the last one for the agenda card. So Mr. Gutsy is going to try to get closer to me. So he's on his way, but he's not going to be able to shoot me this turn, so that's good. We'll notice the agenda deck just depleted. So what's going to happen essentially is I'm going to shuffle these together. And what happens every time the agenda deck depletes is in a solo game, it works a little bit differently. If you're playing multiplayer, you actually have to move both faction tokens on the power track down the power track. But if you're playing solo, then you're moving the one that's kind of further behind up by 1, if you have one further behind. So for instance, in this particular case, it's going to be the railroad that actually boosts up to next level. If we both had been at the same level, then we would have gone ahead and moved both down the track. That's kind of the distinguishing thing there. So that's no good. So that's made the railroad individuals a little bit more powerful. We now reshuffled our agenda deck. We're ready to go. It's back to my turn. I'm going to go ahead and do an explore action because I want to see what's on this tile, even though I'm terrified. And this tracker is lining up with the nowhere to go. So again, this is all talking about the trying to find the local ghouls a new place to live. So essentially, we've left Diamond City, and our goal right now is to explore and find new lands, and hopefully, we can find a place where our ghoul, city can survive or thrive. So let's see what's behind this one. Ooh, we found the tower. What a perfect place to potentially have a house full of ghouls. Amazing. And we actually got our first skull token, which we're going to put and reveal. We've got a Raider Psycho. I mean, that's exactly the kind of person you want greeting you when you get there. Again, make sure that the arrows are pointing up. But we got a Raider Psycho there. All right, interesting. Now let's take a quick look back at this card to see what happens here. So we can, actually, now that this has happened the way it has, now the Raider Psycho is... Let's see. So we explored a tile. So we did this right now. So we found a new uninhibited place for them to settle. And you'll notice when it says explore the exclamation mark tile, it had to be a red one that's got this particular symbol around it. It couldn't be one with a triangle, for instance. So you got to look at your symbols and make sure you're lining them up correctly. So we cleaned that one up perfectly. So now at this point, we can go ahead and we can actually just trash this card. So I'll take the tracker, throw it back. We're going to take this card, put it out. We need 152. We're going to stage that card in. So that card is going to be Drain the Swamp. All right, let's see what this is all about. I'm kind of curious about this one. Drain the Swamp, what does it say? Many areas in the more dangerous sections of the wasteland have uninhabitable places where the ghouls could make their home. But first, said place needs to be made safe for the ghouls to live there. Very true. So we can either do, it's not the prettiest place, but the super mutants have created a large home for themselves in an old substation. Okay. It says here we have to do a quest action on a super mutant camp, which I don't think we've seen yet, and I don't know if I want to. And the other one says no enemies within 2 spaces. Wow, that's interesting. And the other one says the old Robco factory could be a suitable home if the last active robots were gone. So again, we're looking for two specific places that currently aren't open on the map just yet. So we're gonna have to wait on this one and this one because we haven't found the Super Mutant Camp, the Robco factory, either at Vault 84 or Red Rocket Station. They're likely probably in the red areas because those sound like really intense, you know, and those are some of the most favorite places from Fallout and some of the most well-known, as well as some of the places that we've actually revealed. So I shouldn't say that. There could be some in the green here too. It's kind of hard to know. I don't know the tiles well enough yet. I only played this, I played this 3 or 4 times through so far, so I haven't memorized what's on what tile just yet, but those are interesting. So now that we got those open, really the two that are calling to me is Children of the Atom, because we still could potentially eventually find rads. That didn't happen in the one we just discovered, and the only other one that's really possible at the moment is Bunker Hill. So again, it's kind of our main objective of getting back down here to downtown Boston, essentially. We can get down here, it's higher than a level 3 settlement, and we can potentially go down here and gain 2+ for our faction if we can make it there. So that's a plus. This is really cool because the Raider Psycho is here and there's loot available, so that's a potential option. Now, the cool thing is, and the downside is, if I happen to move into his space, I'd automatically fight him. It might be a good idea to do that, just to get that extra level up and stuff. I'd only be getting 2, so as you'll see, if I leveled up, I'd actually only go up 2 spaces. I wouldn't even get to level up, sorry. But I would get some experience. I do get a loot. I get some loot, so that's good as well. That's the debate, you know. There could be something really good here, and getting some loot would be nice because I am missing out on a couple things that I haven't had the opportunity to shop yet. So maybe I need to do this. Maybe I take advantage of killing off the Raider Psycho. The dangerous part is he's a 2 and it might be tough to kill him. But I'm also just noticing his body and feet are the weakest 2 parts, and I think those are fairly common on the dice. So I think this might be where we need to go. So I think this is what we're going to end up doing, is going after the Raider Psycho. So let's do it. Let's move let's go from here into here, and by doing that, essentially all of my actions are done. But when I moved in, he's aggressive, he's automatically going to want to fight me. That's fine with me. So we're going to go ahead and resolve a fight. So at this particular time, we're going to jump right into the fight. Let's get 3 dice out and get ready to fight him. Now, again, remember, if I have any kind of struggle against him, I could potentially use my buff out to kind of help me out. If I happen to have S or E, which I don't, and I still haven't gotten yet, because I pulled a... I've never gotten S or E yet, actually, as an option, I don't think. So eventually, one day, I will. But I do have my well-rested perk, or trait, I should say. So that's going to help me if I need to do a reroll. But let's do this. Let's do this attack. He doesn't get any kind of benefit. He's not using range, and he's in the same space as me, so it's obviously a melee attack. We're hoping for 2 hits, and we need body and legs. All right, we got ourselves a body hit, an arm hit, and then a leg and arm and body hit. Wow. Okay, so basically we got all the hits we needed. The one thing I don't like, though, is that we're taking 3 damage. That's not the best. Now, I don't necessarily want to reroll this, because if I do, then I could risk maybe not getting the hits I need. So, tough. I think I'm going to stick with what I've got, just based on the rolls that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 3 damage, which is... Oh, actually, you know what? I have to think about that, because it's 3 damage times 2, which is 6. So it's going to take me from 9 down to 3. That's a crazy hit. On this guy, I need legs and I need body. Oh, that's so tough. That last die really hurt. Do I risk rolling it and failing it? Now, if I fail it on... So I could go ahead and try to use my well-rested perk to reroll a die. If it doesn't work out, I could then try to... Oh, it says during a test or fight that uses S or E, and neither of those are the case. So I can't use my buff out yet. That's too much of a risk. I gotta take the damage, guys. Gotta take the damage. I'm just gonna have to take... I'm just gonna have to rest when I can rest. But remember, I do have this steak that I could eat. So let's do it. Let's take that damage. Like, it's a pretty good smack. So 2 times the 3 pips is 6. So going down from 9 to 3, dangerously close to death. But we did kill him, so that's good. So this raider is now off the board. Awesome. So again, when you kill off an enemy, this is something that I did incorrectly in the first video too, and someone caught me on it. You're supposed to take these enemies and put them off to the side. So I'm going to be going through the tokens after this video here, and the ones that I've already killed off, like some of the bug characters earlier, I'm going to be taking those out of the token piles because there's a certain way in which you're supposed to go about that. And you're not supposed to just siphon them back into the bottom of those token piles. So anyways, this guy's going to be put off to the side for now. We do get 2 XP, so I'm really happy about that. So it's going to bump us from I to A to L, which is 1 away essentially from leveling up again. That's awesome. The other cool thing about that particular Raider cycle that I don't want to forget about is the loot card. That's right. This is one of the major reasons why I even bothered to fight him, and I'm hoping it's something decent. Oh my gosh, we got some water. Really? That's what we got, is water. During your turn, you may discard this card to recover 5 HP, then suffer 1 rads. Well, guess what? Rads are... That's incredible. So I killed him, got some XP, and got all my health back. Because technically, whenever I drink, rat-infested water with radiation inside of it, it's going to help me, which is going to give me an extra HP. So that's 6 total. So I'm going to put this in my hand here. But essentially, as of right now, it's still my turn. So before I end my turn, I'm going to go ahead and discard this card to bump myself back up to 9 as if nothing even happened. So that really helped my character progress, but it wasn't exactly the item I was looking for. I was hoping kind of for a gun or something else. So we're still searching. We're still searching. Now, the other thing we don't want to forget about is we have to actually populate when a character or specific enemy dies of a certain type. Then you have to repopulate that enemy in the location with the closest symbol to our current player. So obviously for me it's going to be right here because there's only one spot to talk about. But we don't flip it over. It's inactive and it'll sit in this spot. So that's good, but means we can just kind of run away and not worry about it. Unless, of course, right now the agenda card happens to flip it over. That would be bad. So right now we're going to go ahead and resolve that agenda card to end off the video, and we're going to see what happens. All right, so we're in luck. We got an agenda card that worked out for us. So both of those symbols, neither of them apply. We don't have any railroad or any of that particular other symbol, which we haven't seen yet, at all. So that's perfect, which means nothing activates, nothing moves, and we are looking pretty good. So going into the next video, you guys are going to notice I'm going to try to make my way down here to the railroad. I'll probably do some moving from, maybe my next plan will be to go to here, and then head to the railroad, and then maybe do an encounter here. And we can go check out one of the settlement cards and see what happens in a settlement. You see if some type of cool encounter happens, and then on the way we can kind of head further down. Yeah, that's really good actually. I really like how this is panned out because now the monsters are kind of chasing me down the board. They're going to come at me eventually, but I'm also making some decent headway around the super mutant. He's got quite a ways to go before he can catch me. So this is not bad, not bad. And we are progressing up the charts. One thing I'm going to check on after the video is out, and you guys can let me know in the comments below, can I actually gain double of the same, can I basically have, I obviously get 1 influence for each of these 2 cards I have, but because of the same card, do I gain, do I gain double the influence for the same exact agenda bonus portion of this card? That's what I'm really curious about. Can you actually do that? If not, then when I get to my 4 limit of agenda cards, I'm going to have to turf this one because it's not going to really give me anything special. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough so far. We'll check into those little tiny rule checks out of the video, and then I'll come back and pin it in the comment section. Hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough. Thanks so much for your support, and as always, keep on rolling solo.